guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought that I would take some time and talk to you guys about like where my mindset is in terms of like this whole planning thing. So I have been so upset and so frustrated with my 2022 system. Like, it's just not working for me. Initially, I came into this thinking that I had it all figured out, that I just wanted to be in one book at a time. And I've kind of gotten myself into this system where there's like a conjunction of 3 and 4, and I never wanted to be there at all this year. I really just wanted to base everything out of one particular system. Um, I do like having my journal wrapped up into like my planning, only because it makes it easier for when I want to actually write something. Then I have this notebook that's just ready to go, and then I still have all my plans and stuff, and I don't have to drag around two separate books. However, because of how I'm planning, um, realistically, it's just not working for me right now. It's just not working for me at all. There is only maybe one system that is really like nailing it, but other than that, it's not enough to make me extremely satisfied. So I started out with my passport, traveler's notebook. That was going to be my it. And then I had these Sunshine Sticker Co. books. I had this one inside of a Moleskine Saffiano zip. And I took this out because I just really wasn't gravitating towards this. Nothing against the notebook itself. I just really don't like thicker paper. It's 120 GSM. I think there are times when I really want that thicker paper, and then there's times like now that I'm just gravitating more towards a thinner paper. And so I realized that I really enjoyed my Moleskines, and so I went back to a Moleskine. So I ordered an A5 Moleskine, expanded and grid. I already had some. I had the A5 in red, which was in plain. So like the red cover. So these are the two that I had because I'm horrible at explaining. So I had this A5 Moleskine in plain, which has a red cover, and then I have the hardcover in dot grid. And so these were supposed to be like, like the things I was going to use this year for my planner needs. And then of course I had my pocket daily Moleskine inside of my passport, TN, along with some other little booklets that I was using, and I still use that very much so. However, when I came out of my stology, right? So this is what I use primarily for the last couple of months, and then I stopped using this because I really didn't care to look back on 2021, even though it was a really good year in terms of like the things that I got to experience in terms of like my pregnancy, and it was just a much better year for me. But I don't care to really look back on these plans, and I am someone who, when the new year starts, I want to be in something new. I want to archive whatever is, done for 2020, whatever year, and be on to something else. So, I bought this and I set it up and I used it for the last 2 weeks of January. I almost said July. Oh my gosh. So I used it for the last 2 weeks of January, and I must say it has been a great addition to my planner needs because this is a much more bigger canvas, for me to create and do everything that I want to do in just a few different spreads. An idea was to have everything wrapped into this one book, Well, as much as I love this, I do feel like there is something genuinely missing out of this system. There's parts of me that really love this A5. You guys know A5 notebooks are my jam. I really, really love A5 size notebooks. Um, and so I tend to always get A5 sizes because it's just such a size that I love. I also love pocket. So my mindset is, I'm fighting between wanting to be in a pocket, wanting to be in A5, wanting to be in something like a thicker notebook, wanting to be in a smaller notebook. And nowhere have I figured out this happy medium of where I want to be. And this is probably the first time that I'm really expressing like my hatred for this whole planner system that I've kind of developed this year, because I usually already have a idea of what I want to use, and when I want to use it, I just use it. It doesn't matter if I don't finish it. I always come back to them at a later date, but this time around just feels so much different because my priorities have shifted so drastically, and I know my priorities are going to continue to shift and change over the course of months. I am desperately trying to find a happy medium where I can get everything into one book and still feel like, it's not too heavy, it's not too small, it's not too big. But right now, I'm telling you, it is the hardest factor that I'm trying to wrap my mind around. So I'll open this up and I'll flip through, what I did set up in here. I am still using this. It's just something that I feel like I'm missing with using this. So I did go ahead and do the year across a couple of pages. I did a vertical year so that way I could add in appointments, holidays, birthdays, and so on. Really needed that because sometimes when I'm planning and when you don't have all of your pages set up for a bullet journal, having a couple of pages like this or a spread like this really helps, so you can plug in those kinds of things, and then when you do set up your pages you can go back to them. This is something that I wish I would have included in my older bullet journals, to be honest with you. I did include a spending log and a gratitude page. Gratitude is just something for me to write something very good and encouraging. I don't have a date on it because I wanted to be able to freely come to this page and write something, especially during times where I feel really, really just low and I just want to write something to kind of boost my mood. So I'll just write something. It may not be every day, it may be random, it may be every day, but the page is here for me to just write a couple of things of gratitude. And when the page is full, whichever area I am in the book, I will just create a new one and then just do the same thing. I created a spending log, not to necessarily track household bills, but to track my personal hobby spending. So I do recognize that I spend a lot on my hobby. Because I am overseas, I tend to spend a little bit more than what I would spend in the US because shipping is very expensive, and anything you buy in the Amazon for this country, which is Germany, is always way more expensive. Like astrology comparison from the US to here, I have seen Stologies for about $17, roughly speaking, on Amazon for US. I have seen Sequins notebooks for $11 and $12 and $14 on Amazon for US. In comparison to that from here, Stologies, even A6 Stologies, are roughly $30. $30 for that little book. And the B6 is no different. It is 33 or 34 plus dollars for that book. And sometimes, depending on how popular it is, the price is ridiculously expensive. So when I really, really, really want something right now, sometimes I will foot the bill and just buy it. Does it cost me more money? Yes. Am I taking a financial risk doing it? Yes, because it's not cost effective at all. It's not budget friendly at all to spend that much for a tiny notebook that I may or may not finish. So that's why when I get those notebooks, I try to really use them to their full advantage because they are not cheap to get here. The Moleskines, however, are very cheap to get here. They're not too different from buying them in the US, but yes, they are a little bit cheaper to get here than there. But anyway, that's totally off topic. But it just lines up with my spending log, and just to really hold myself accountable for, hey, this is how much money you're spending and you need to calm down because you actually have responsibilities. So let's nip that in the bud. So this just gives me a overview of like all of the spending that I'm doing. Basic January layout. I did include January and February's monthly, and I've started to set up February, though I'm not completely done. So there's that. And today is the last day in January, so I kind of feel like I'm on a time limit. Like I need to have February set up like tonight. But for the last couple of weeks of January, I've been doing like this extensive weekly planning. So it looks really chaotic, but really, in all honesty, it's just a bunch of things that I've been tracking, some areas of my life. A weekly overview just to, jot down some things, maybe like the most important things. I captured a holiday, some appointments that my son and I had, garbage days, and what kind of garbage day it is, meetings. I do capture what we eat, like I do write down what we eat and stuff, but I don't necessarily do a whole lot of meal planning. I do for my particular meals, but when it comes to like family stuff, I don't do a whole lot of planning for that. I do have a puree machine for my son, so I kind of do want to do like meal planning for him because it's important for him, and I want to make sure that he gets the best nutrition possible. So I'll probably be doing that, but outside of that, I don't really, write down too many in terms of like meal planning. I've captured all my medications, wrote down like my workouts, tracked all of that stuff, things that I usually do all the time, like journal, post to IG, spend money because obviously it's something that I'm struggling with because my hobby, and it's an enjoyable hobby. And when you have free range to pretty much do your hobby, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't really work. I haven't worked in 3 years, and so being a stay-at-home mom is my job now. Um, you tend to have more freedom to shop for your hobby, and that can in terms make you spend more. Not necessarily saying that people make you spend more, but when it's something you really enjoy and there's something that you really want, you tend to spend more. So again, with the tracking my spending and tracking gratitude, and then all of this stuff over here is just like my general weekly notes, the moods, and water intake, because I have been horrible with my water intake for months now. And so my dailies in this book. So my book is split up into a yearly overview, monthly, weekly, daily. So the day pages are just running to-do lists with notes. That's it. I did it that way because I am a lister, so I run off of a list. There are times in my day that I need to have broken down into sections, like morning, evening, or morning, afternoon, and evening. But sometimes I just need that list to pretty much just lay out and tell me, okay, this is everything that you need to try to get done today. And you just work from this list, and then whatever is not done on that list moves over to the next day. So that's pretty much how my dailies run. There's always going to be a running to-do list, any notes that might arise during that day, or anything I need to note take. And pretty much I'll just work from this list by just, seeing what's more important to me. Now, I did add another system to kind of help with this, and I will share that momentarily. But yeah, that's pretty much how this worked for me for the main part. I do use one blank sheet at the end of every week, and that sheet is pretty much for me to just, like plan out the following week, write down some key things that I want to get done, need to get done, like on a need to do basis. And it's pretty much there for me as a guide to look into the following week and say, okay, what do I have going on this week, and what can I put in from last week so that I'm not falling behind on certain things. Maybe there's household chores, who knows, maybe there's a bunch of things that I need to get done, or appointments or calls that I need to make. But nonetheless, I use one blank page to kind of map all of that out, like what's important, and what can I take from that week to move over to the following week. And so in here, I will plug in everything that I know for sure, and then I will just go in and see where I have like nothing really happening, or the times of when I have stuff happening. So if something is happening super early in a day, maybe I can take a task from here and then plug it in somewhere on that day. So I hope that makes sense. But pretty much that's how I've been running this bullet journal. And it's just pen and paper. There's really no stickers or anything in here. And it's so that I can really just think about what I need to get done, because my day is so full, and I completely underestimated how busy my life would be having a child. Stay-at-home mom is a great job. I absolutely adore my son, but my God, is it a hard job. And it's probably the hardest job that I have ever had in my entire life. And it is one of those jobs that make me extremely stressed out and overwhelmed, because you oftentimes feel like you can't get your life back in control. You often feel like you have way too many things to do. And so right now, I am very, very, very reliant on my planner, and I'm very reliant on the task and the routines that we do, because I capture and I just jot down everything. I jot down every single little thing, and I try to remind myself to do those things, because I'm forgetful. Something that I don't know. I just noticed lately that I've been very forgetful of things, so I'm reliant on this. And so my problem is that I'm just not happy with the systems, because in my bullet journal, I feel I have to set up everything. That's why my daily pages are not as glamorous, and that's why it's just a basic running list. I feel like I have to set up everything, but I like having a bullet journal because, again, this gives me flexibility to make pages exactly how I want them to be, how I need them to be. And it works in some aspects, and then right now it's working and not working at the same time. So it's working in terms of flexibility, in terms of what I can do with the pages and how I can utilize these pages, but it's not working because it's time consuming, and I have to sit down and I have to draw out, like these monthlies. I try to stray away from printables in here, because our printer is not plugged up all the time. I have to plug it up, then I have to think about the ink. I have to think about, sizing it and putting it in here. And then at the end of the day, I have to think about the bulk. Like, how bulky is this going to get if I use a bunch of printables? So I opt to draw out everything. But like I said, either or is time consuming, because I did look into printables, but it just did not suit like my needs. Like, I tried it for this book, and I just used some free printables. I didn't want to spend money on anything because I wasn't sure if I would like that or not. Like, this was a printable, and I really didn't care for it. I just really did not care for the printable at all. So I don't know. I'm just not happy with my 2022 system. So if I'm moving on from this, I did decide to go back into personal rings. So you guys know personal rings is, like no stranger to me. It's something that I'm very familiar with. So I'm just going to cut right into it because I feel like I waste way too much time explaining everything. So personal rings was added back in. There are some inserts that I used years ago, and I just included those inserts right back into my life. Why? Because they worked for me in the past, and I thought maybe they could work for me now, and I'll just go through how they're geared to be used and how I'm using them. So basic rundown. So I have all of the months, so 12 months, 12 whole months, and these are just basic monthly overviews. I believe they are from the company Promo. I bought them on Amazon for Germany. I'm pretty sure you can get these on Amazon for US, but they're just a basic monthly. And in the front of them and also in the back of them, they have like this January, just so on. They have like this monthly overview with number and subject. And I guess it is geared to be used as like a to-do list, like a monthly to-do list. But what I'm using it for is basically like an inbox. Because I got this set of inserts so late in January, I didn't feel the need to go back in and write down everything for January. So January pretty much just got trashed, and then February, which I have not yet done my February planning. I will go in and I will start doing everything for February. I put in some things, but everything is not in here. So we have our monthly, right? So after we get past our monthly, I have which I call a miscellaneous section, and this is just like a section for like a monthly plan, a future appointment sheet, and 4 meal planning inserts, which are all Filofax inserts, not these. These two, this future plan and monthly plan, are from My Summer's Touch. And then these inserts here are Filofax. So the note paper and the meal planning are Filofax. And pretty much the meal planning inserts primarily is just for me to be able to write down, like the breakfast, lunches, and dinners that I can plan out for like my son and myself. And then on the back, there's a grocery list. Not that I don't cook for my husband, because that sounded so awful. My husband works, so he usually grabs breakfast, so I never have to think about breakfast for him. But dinner time, mainly me and him will sit down and we'll do that. But for breakfast and lunch, primarily, I just want to capture like, like what me and my son eat during the day, and then dinner, I always try to figure out like what everyone can eat for dinner. My son is on puree, so he's also drinking milk, but he's on puree. So there's not too many options at the moment. So, I mean, it's whatever we feel like we want to give him, and if he eats it, pretty much. So there's no meal planning there, but you guys get the gist, I hope. But anyway, I call this the miscellaneous section because of, it's just randoms in here. There's a couple of note pages. There's really no note pages in this whole planner aside from the notepad and a couple of notebooks that I have tucked away. But this is the only little note section that I have within the rings, and it's just like 5 little sheets of paper. And it's in here to basically do like extensive grocery shopping or any random list of any sort. Then, if I'm moving forward, these are the weeklies. And I want to say this right because I tend to always explain these wrong. So these are the weeklies, and each month of Weeklies comes with a monthly plan sheet. So the way that these monthly plan sheets are set up is that it goes by a week. So week 52, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on. This started at the end of December. So what this side is geared towards is your weekly goals. So something you want to get done for that week. And then this is your task. So weekly task. You have the option to categorize it in its importance. So A, B, and C. And then you have an option to check it off. You even have a time slot to time it. And then the back of that is just your monthly timetable. So pretty much it's from 7 to 7, and then these are all the days of the month. And then you have, like you can time out certain things so that you can see them on a bigger scale. My idea behind getting this system to go alongside with my bullet journal is that I could keep everything, kind of in order. So sort of, I think. I don't really know, because at the time when I got this, I was thinking maybe this would help me with some time management. Maybe I can get a couple of tasks done by timing them out, figuring out, where I have open windows to do things. But I don't think that it's necessarily helping me at all. And so I had grown a detachment from my rings prior to the end of last year. And then I really didn't want to use rings, but I felt like I needed the flexibility, and rings adds so much flexibility because you can literally change out inserts all the time. You can move them around freely, opposed to what you could do in a bullet journal. So I thought to myself, maybe this would work, but it has not been working for me at all. So I'm just going through like the whole process behind, like how I've been using this. So the weekly is just a week on one page. Again, you have that spot to check it off, categorize it, and then time it. I usually don't put anything timed in the weeklies unless it is like day specific stuff, like appointments usually always go in my weeklies. Packages that I know have a time slot or time window, they usually always go in the weeklies. But other than that, I don't put to-dos in here. I don't do that because it's pointless. I have a section for that, so why would I put that in my weeklies? But every set of monthlies, so every set of weeklies that starts a new month has this month plan. I didn't do January's like I mentioned in the others about the other inserts, is because I got this so late at the end of January that it really didn't make sense to fill it in. At this point, I just kind of want to see what I can do with the insert, and then maybe try to fill out February's and see, how I want to use it. But at the moment, it's just kind of, up there. So by the way, my sections go monthly, weekly, daily. So I don't have other sections in here. So this back section is all daily. And then I do have like a phone book section. I don't think I'll use it, to be honest. I don't know. I do get doctors' numbers and stuff like that. And I do get given numbers. So maybe, but as of right now, I don't have any to write. But anyway, this is my daily section. And last time when I used these inserts, I did a day on one page. This is a day on 2 pages. So let me explain. So these inserts have and I'm just flipping through to a more suitable day that I can really explain. Okay. So these daily inserts have a section for your project, or mainly like the events, and then the task, and then again the time window to time it, categorize it as importance, ABC, and then check it off. I have primarily been using this to kind of figure out like my morning, afternoon, and evening routines. And again, I have a running to-do list, and this does not reflect the same to-do list as in my bullet journal. So my bullet journal is a running to-do list of every single thing, but in here it's primarily just, like what exactly is important, what do I need to get done actually today that cannot be put off anymore. That's the kind of to-do list that is in here. And then what I'll do is, so I will write a window or block out a window in which that's the morning routine, and these are the tasks that we do in the morning. And then I will write down, like the afternoon routine if there is one. Sometimes, my son takes a nap and the afternoon routine is kind of, all over the place. But maybe I'll write down the afternoon routine, and then maybe afternoon routines get pushed down. Maybe something comes up. Maybe we go somewhere, like if we have an appointment this particular day. There was an appointment for my son, so things like that. And then I'll try to do the evening routine where I'm writing down everything that pretty much we need to do in the evening to get bedtime in check. And so I will kind of try to follow this, and it goes from 7 to 7, but then you have all this blank space to kind of, write extra to-dos or tasks, and so on. And so what I do is I try to figure out, okay, like between this window and this window, I can do bottle washing and all of this stuff. And then maybe between this hour or this hour, I can do my shower routine, or, and so on. So I've been using this to kind of see like where my time is, like where I can plug things. But to be honest with you, I've not been in love with this system, like at all. Like, I do like these inserts a lot. I do. I adore them. I think they're really helpful. But I'm just not in love with them. And it's not that I don't love, like the principal inserts either, because this insert is from My Summer's Touch and I use this insert, but I'm just not feeling it right now. And I think because I don't necessarily, I think that I just feel like it's just too much for me at the moment, and I'm really craving like a one planner system. To me, this is a lot because it's a timed system and there's a lot going on. Though I do feel like there's a lot going on in my life right now. That's why I haven't made YouTube videos, because I do have a lot of stuff going on in my life that is just, it feels like it's all over the place. And so I've been trying to figure this whole planning situation out, but nothing seems to be working for me. And so I added this, and I'm using it, but I don't know how successful using that is. And this is going to be a long video. I'm just going to tell you guys that now. I had someone tell me as a suggestion to maybe make shorter videos, but I don't post often. I try to post as often, but recently I have not been posting as often. So when I make these videos, I try to get the most information out of there. I'm sorry that they're a little long. I will definitely take into account timing and try to split them up. But realistically, I have a 7-month-old who doesn't really allow me to do much of anything. And so when I make these videos, I try to give you guys the most information in one. And lastly, this is the only thing, like I said, that has really been kind of working for me, but not really on a productive aspect, because I have my journal in here, and then I use this Moleskine as a dual journal and planner, but it's not a productive system like I had intended. And the only other thing that is really productive for me is this, I'll zoom you guys in because you guys look really far away, is this weekly booklet. So I have been using this weekly booklet to pretty much write down like all of my medications. So it's just holding medications, important things during the week that I need to have in here. And again, I dated February, but I haven't been able to get into February's planning yet. Like I really, really want to. And it's dark outside, so we'll see how far I can get with setting up and finishing my daily planning for February. My journal is in here. And then I have my Moleskine, which I have been using. Here, we'll do a quick flip. I have my Moleskine in here, which I didn't necessarily intend it to be a journal, but that's kind of where it turned into, because I started doing this memory keeping thing. And then I lost sight of, like writing my daily to-dos and planning and using the timeline for my routines and stuff like that. So this overall just became, like a place for me to just have fun instead of getting my stuff done. So now I'm stuck between, I have this book that's not really helpful at all, but I love it. And yeah, that's where I am with my planning system. So I don't doubt that I'll be changing it again. I think the A5 Moleskine is going, I cannot talk, is going to stay, but I don't know. I don't know about everything right now. There's parts of me that just wants to give up planning and just go with the flow of things, but I know that in the end that is going to screw me over because I am forgetful and I don't have time to be forgetting stuff. Not now. We only have 5 months left here in this country, and I want to be able to get all the things that I need to get done. Like I need to renew licenses and IDs and all that stuff, and there's just so much on my plate. I'm just so overwhelmed with being a new mom and a stay-at-home mom. And like filming is another thing that I enjoy, but it's also another thing that's in the back of my mind, like, you need to get this done, you need to do this. And yeah, I'm overwhelmed with the system, and I haven't found anything that really is benefiting me right now, working for me at all. I've even changed my on the go, and I will do that in another video hopefully soon. But guys, that is my update. That's what I wanted to share with you all. It was cutthroat and raw for me to get on here and not, tell you guys, I mean, I wish I could have gotten on here and told you guys, like, I love my system, but I don't. And I'd be lying if I said that I did. So there's that. I guess everyone's having the same thought, though, because I've seen quite a few people change their systems as well. But here's my truth. I'm not happy with either of it. I'm hating my rings. I'm hating this. I slightly like my passport, but I'm hating that too in some aspects. And I'm craving something smaller, but I'm craving something bigger. Mainly because I want everything in one book, but I haven't found a book that I really want to do that in unless I go back to something like this. This was from 2020. I don't know. I did pull out this to kind of give me some insight as to how I use this, to give me some gratification as to how I can minimize my system into one book. This is the only book that will allow me to put, and I have quite a few books like this, but this and one other book that I have is the only book that will allow me to put everything into one entire system. The only problem with that is that this is big. This is huge. This is not something that I necessarily want to carry around. I have carried it around, but I don't want to carry it around. So I don't know. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing like how I've been managing and planning and all of these things. I'll try to let you guys know how it all ends up in another video. If you have any suggestions for me, they're greatly appreciated. But as always, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys very soon.